Chapter 161. The food seemed more appetizing now that Arissa was in a good mood. She chose to disregard her appointment with Donna. That woman will ruin my mood anyway, so I might as well eat as much as I can over here. Right then, her phone rang. Looking at the number on the screen, she hung up immediately. Gosh, why is Donna so impatient? Her phone rang another time, and once again she hung up. Annoyed, she put her phone on silent mode. Benjamin looked at her and then at her phone. He asked, "Why didn't you pick up the call?" "It's nothing important. I would rather not answer it," said Arissa. Benjamin was rendered speechless. He believed she was hiding something. "So, you won't entertain people you don't like, is that it?" With that in mind, Benjamin's mood lifted. Donna sent her a text message. In it, she made her fury known. "Arissa, come here at once, or you'll regret it." Arissa snickered. "Ha, you just can't wait, can you?" She replied, "I'm held up at work. Do you suppose we can reschedule our meeting?" At Donna's end, she violently tossed her phone on the table after she read Arissa's message. Her face scrunched up in anger. "Nice try, Arissa, not one to give up." Donna texted the woman again, "How much time do you need?" Arissa almost burst out laughing when she read the reply. Donna seemed to be much more frustrated than her. Next, Arissa chose to put down her phone to enjoy her lunch to her heart's content. Benjamin shifted his gaze from the phone to Arissa's gloating face. Curious, he asked, "Who are you talking to?" Arissa stared at him and answered, "Your girlfriend." There was a pause before she added, "I was talking to Donna." Frowning, Benjamin asked, "What business do you have with her?" Arissa scrutinized the man's facial expression. She could sense his displeasure. Is he crossed because I messed with his lover? The thought somehow made her heart twitch. Arissa explained, "She contacted me first. Can you guess what she told me, Mr. Graham?" With that, she lowered her head. Suddenly, the food did not seem as fancy as before. Nevertheless, she made sure not to leave on an empty stomach. "You were supposed to meet her, weren't you?" Benjamin asked, his eyebrows arched. "Bingo," Arissa answered as she ate. Benjamin was relieved to hear that. However, his eyebrows remained knitted as he kept a straight face. Arissa misread him. Her heart sank. He still has feelings for Donna, hasn't he? "Where had you two agreed to meet?" he asked. He had no idea what was on Arissa's mind. Sim Restaurant. The restaurant was located near the company. Arissa would pass by the place every day to and from work. At Arissa's reply, Benjamin nodded without saying a word. Arissa kept quiet as she ate her meal. Eventually, she finished her food. "Mr. Graham, enjoy your lunch." Benjamin frowned when he noticed that Arissa had eaten so little. "Are you sure you've had enough?" He glanced at her belly. Arissa blushed in embarrassment. "Yes, I'm sure. Take your time, Mr. Graham. I have to go." With that said, Arissa wiped her mouth with a napkin, grabbed her bag, and stepped out of Benjamin's office. Benjamin watched Arissa leave until she was out of sight. This woman was clearly enjoying her meal. Why had she suddenly lost her appetite? He did not understand it. His face darkened even more when he recalled that Arissa was going to meet Donna. He promptly picked up his phone and made a call. "Follow her," he ordered. After he hung up, he stared at the remaining food on the table. He did not feel like eating anymore. He ordered the staff to clean up the table. Meanwhile, Arissa had no idea that Ethan was following her. She headed to Sim Restaurant while she still had time. When she arrived, there were not as many diners as she expected. It was still considered crowded as most of the diners remained at their table and were chatting up each other after they had their meal. Arissa scanned the place and found Donna sitting at a table by the window. She hesitated for a moment before she made her presence known. "Miss Adams, I'm so sorry to have kept you waiting." Chapter 162. Arissa sat across from Donna. A spiteful look fleeted across Donna's face. With a smile, she mocked, "I didn't think you were one to be late for your appointments. I guess you don't really want to know. No one has ever made me wait so long. Arissa must be doing this on purpose." Donna cursed inwardly, yet she could manage a smile, albeit a disdainful one. At the same time, Orissa swept a glance at Donna. You wouldn't beat around the bush if you intend to let me know, Miss Adams. Just say it. She reached into her pocket while maintaining eye contact with the woman opposite her. Since both of them knew each other's identities, there was no point in hiding anything. They might as well put their cards on the table. Donna ran her fingers along the rim of her cup. Why do you seem so certain that I will tell you the truth? Orissa was unfazed by Donna's provocation. After all, she already had an inkling of what happened 5 years ago. She wouldn't be controlled by Donna. Donna smiled. You sure are calm. Don't you want to know how I brought you there back then? Orissa tightened her fists as her eyes burned with hatred. So it was you. Donna, why would you set me up when I have nothing against you? Donna had held her captive for over half a year. Every time she thought back to that period of time, she found herself consumed by animosity. Never had she ever expected Donna to admit to her crimes directly. Does she think she's untouchable just because she's from the Adams family? It's your fault for having slept with the wrong man. Donna glared at Orissa indignantly. On that fateful night, she was supposed to lie with Benjamin, but Orissa snatched the opportunity from her. If I were Gavin's biological mother, Benjamin wouldn't have given me the cold shoulder. I would have loved Gavin if I were the one who gave him life. All the while, Orissa wore a glum look as she glared at Donna, whose arrogance permeated her features. Don't you think I might tell Benjamin everything you told me? Back then, she had been tricked into sleeping with Benjamin. She had no idea that was him in the first place. Otherwise, it wouldn't have taken her so many years to find Gavin. I choose to tell you because I'm not afraid of you snitching on me. Do you think Benjamin will believe you? Donna stared at Orissa scornfully. It was an act of mockery as well as an attempt to feel things out. She wasn't sure if Orissa had told Benjamin what really happened. As long as Orissa remained silent, Donna would have nothing to worry about. She could allow Orissa to leave. Meanwhile, Orissa suppressed her anger. She's right. Benjamin wouldn't believe in me even if I told him. I came clean to him last night and he didn't believe me at all. Annoyed, Orissa glowered at Donna. Cut the crap. What are you trying to imply? Leave Benjamin. Donna eyed Orissa arrogantly as she leaned against her chair. At that moment, Orissa found the situation quite amusing. I want you to leave him. Don't ever show your face in front of him again. Do that, and I can pay you handsomely. Donna took out a check she had written prior the meeting. It was worth $2 million. She placed it on the table and pushed it toward the other woman. After glancing at it, Orissa smirked. Miss Adams, do you think I can be bribed with money? You kidnapped my children. Orissa saw red. She wished that she could get rid of the vicious woman. This is far from over. I have a score to settle with you. You better get your head out of the clouds. Donna merely tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Then, she declared, do you have proof that I did that? Watch your tongue, lest I sue you for slander. Just a minute ago, you admitted to locking me up. Now, you say you didn't kidnap my children. If it hadn't been for you, my son wouldn't have been used as a pawn for you to get close to Benjamin. You can lie all you want to a child, but you won't be able to deceive me. Do you have what it takes to take me on in front of Benjamin? Do you think he will keep spoiling you if he finds out what you have done? How can you be sure he loves you? Will he leave you hanging for 5 years without marrying you if he really loves you? Forgive me for my ignorance, for I don't understand love, but now I see that true love is something that can be delayed for years on end. Chapter 163. Orissa kept on pushing Donna's buttons. After all, she wasn't a pushover. If it hadn't been for Donna's scheme 5 years ago, she wouldn't have been imprisoned for such a long time and failed to protect her children. Meanwhile, Donna's face was livid with anger. She grasped her bag so hard that her nails dug into it. So what if I am the culprit? Benjamin will eventually forgive me. If he had any inclination to hold me accountable, he would have done so when he found out I'd been mistreating Gavin. Yet, he didn't do that, which proves that he still loves me. Compared to your son, I am more important to him. You will never understand our relationship. The only reason he hasn't married me is because my actions have irked him. One day, he will forgive me. Although Donna sounded confident when she bit back, she was actually skeptical. Benjamin had been refusing to see her as of late. Orissa must be behind this. Benjamin even saved her when I slipped up last night. The thought left Donna enraged. Benjamin wouldn't have allowed a nobody to give birth to his children if he had known about it. Orissa glared at Donna's cocky face. She's trying to irritate me. With a smirk, she questioned, "So, you didn't count on me giving birth to his children, did you?" Benjamin's treatment of Gavin wasn't as heartless as Donna claimed to be. All the hurt that Gavin received, he got them from Donna. Gritting her teeth, Orissa declared, "Donna, don't you dare assume that your crimes have gone unnoticed. You will get your karma in due time." "Karma?" Donna smiled, unaffected by the claim. "Do you plan on enacting your revenge? Do you think you stand a chance against me?" Determined not to let the guilty roam free, Orissa stood her ground despite Donna's provocation. "Why would you need to chase me away if you're certain that Benjamin is devoted to you? From the way I see it, you aren't sure how he feels about you. Tell me, what do you think are the chances of me snatching him away from you?" Donna's face contorted with anger, but she quickly regained her composure. "Even if you snatch my prize away, you might not live to enjoy it." Bloodlust fleeted across Donna's eyes, sending a chill down Orissa's spine. "What is this woman plotting now? Are you angry?" she mocked. "I never knew you were this flighty. I bet you're anxious. You're worried because you won't get another chance if Benjamin dumps you. Or rather, you feel insecure because you have committed a crime, and you are afraid of him finding out about your true nature. Am I right? I wager that you're also behind the previous 2 kidnapping incidents. Unfortunately, you slipped up, and that's why I'm standing here unharmed. Not only did Benjamin rescue me last night, but he allowed me to spend the night at Yaleview. Why is he so kind toward an employee he knows nothing about? Can you guess why he came to my rescue? Benjamin never was a loving man. To be frank, he's ruthless. Those who offended him all suffered a grim fate." Donna turned green with envy as she listened on. Has Benjamin actually fallen for this woman? Orissa had given birth to his children. If he finds out she's Gavin's biological mother, I won't stand a chance against her. I can't let her live. Are your kids still alive? Stunned by the sudden inquiry, Orissa watched her alarmingly. "Orissa, you don't need to trigger me like this. You won't be able to bear the consequences." Triumphant, Donna forced Orissa into a corner. "Take the money and get lost. You might live a good life with this. Just bear in mind that you will pay a heavy price if you dare snitch on me to Benjamin. He's not yours for the taking." Donna held a blood-chilling gaze as she threatened Orissa. The latter felt like she was being choked, for she knew Donna wasn't above anything. "You're overthinking this, Miss Adams. I'm not interested in your man. As you said, I'm but a powerless woman. How can I possibly undermine you? No matter where I am, I will be targeted by the Adams family as long as you see me as a threat. After all, nobody is as cruel as you." She sneered. Chapter 164. As a member of the elite, Donna was arrogant and fearless. Otherwise, she wouldn't have had the courage to do what she did 5 years ago. Therefore, she was satisfied to see that Orissa knew her place. "Relax, I won't kill you, but I can make you suffer. As long as you make yourself scarce after taking my money, I will take good care of Gavin." All the while, Orissa sniggered internally. I wonder what gave her such confidence. Gavin is already showing signs of autism due to her mistreatment. I doubt she would take care of him. Gavin would have a hard time surviving under her care. I will not leave here yet. I returned for an investigation, so I won't leave before uncovering the truth. The moment Donna heard that, her face fell. "You lied to me." "Oh, I wouldn't dare. You have the Adams family's backing, so you have no reason to feel threatened by someone like me." Orissa eyed Donna derisively. At the same time, Donna chuckled in contempt. "You must be joking, Orissa. Why would I be afraid of you? Were you the one who drugged me 5 years ago?" Orissa interrogated Donna because she wanted to find out when exactly the latter had started plotting against her. Frowning in disdain, Donna gave Orissa a once-over. "Do you think I drugged you so that you could sleep with Benjamin? Do I look like an idiot to you?" Actually, she had drugged Benjamin that night just so she could sleep with him, but Arissa ended up doing just that. Arissa was startled by Donna's expression. It wasn't you. Ha ha. Donna stared at Arissa with contempt. Wow, you don't even know who drugged you. You must have poor connections. There was a sullen look on Arissa's face. If it's not her, then, could it be them? She thought of someone in particular, and immediately felt a sting in her heart. To be honest, I had no qualms about you sleeping with Benjamin. However, you got pregnant because of that one night, so I had no choice but to. After the brief explanation, Donna took a sip of her coffee. It wasn't until much later when she bumped into Arissa at the hospital that she got the idea to lock the woman up. If she had known that Benjamin wouldn't marry Arissa even if she had given birth to his children, she wouldn't have committed the atrocities. There was no going back. If you wish for your children's safety, you should leave here immediately. Leaning in, she warned Arissa smilingly. Hatred flashed across Arissa's eyes. She grabbed Donna's hair and smashed her head on the table. Donna felt dizzy after the impact. She did not expect Arissa would resort to violence. The cups clinked as they rolled off the table and onto the floor. The noises attracted the attention of the people around them. Arissa only released Donna after she pounded her a few more times. Furiously, she cautioned Donna, "Don't even think that I will remain complacent. If you lay a finger on my children, I will make you pay dearly." Donna cowered upon meeting Arissa's fiery gaze. She quickly recalled that Arissa didn't have any backing. As soon as Donna regained her composure, she splashed the contents of her cup on her. Arissa had expected this. She was able to duck in time, but she still got some coffee on her. Regardless, she fared way better than Donna. Donna pounced. She wanted to fight Arissa, but Ethan came between them just in time. "Are you all right, Miss York?" Seeing Ethan, Donna's expression shifted as she checked her surroundings. "Is Benjamin here too? Why are you here?" she asked Ethan. "Miss Adams." Ethan nodded. "I happen to be dining here." Donna's gaze flickered for a second, but she managed to suppress her guilt, knowing that Ethan wouldn't tell Benjamin about what happened. "Get out of my way. This woman raised her hand at me. I will teach her a lesson." "Calm down. Let's talk things through. You have an image to maintain. If this makes it to the news, your reputation will be tarnished, Miss Adams." Ethan tried his best to de-escalate the situation. Nonetheless, a fight broke out between the two women. He tried his best to protect Arissa so that Donna wouldn't get to her. Benjamin had assigned him to do so. "Ethan, what is the meaning of this?" Donna glared at Ethan glumly. Chapter 165. Stunned, Ethan replied smilingly, "Miss Adams, I am concerned about your image. People are watching. What will Benjamin think if he sees you behaving like this?" Donna's expression changed, yet she continued to glower at Arissa fiercely. After that, she tidied her clothes and hair. She looked down on Arissa proudly and said, "Just you wait." Then, she put on her sunglasses, packed her things, and turned to leave. Arissa glared at Donna's retreating figure as hatred simmered within her. "Are you okay, Miss York?" Ethan inquired with concern. Donna had always been demure in Benjamin's presence. "I didn't think she can be so bossy. She must have been putting up an act around Benjamin. If Gavin hadn't broken the news, none of us would have known that she's such a nasty woman." Arissa looked back at Ethan and said, "I'm fine. Thank you for defending me." "It's nothing. I was just doing my job." Ethan smiled shyly. "Mr. Graham was worried about your safety, so he sent me." "You have him to thank." "Benjamin." Arissa frowned, feeling something shifting within her as she walked toward the exit. Catching up to her, Ethan studied her for a moment. He eventually noticed her disbelief. "I'm telling the truth. Mr. Graham was worried that Donna might bully you." Arissa whipped her head around and asked, "How can you be sure that he's worried about me, and not afraid that I might be tormenting Donna?" Ethan had nothing to say to that. Instead of going after Benjamin, Arissa stepped into her office once she arrived at the company. She then took out the recording pen she had in her pocket. She checked the contents and confirmed that it had recorded everything Donna told her. "Just you wait, Donna." Determined, she plugged the pen into her computer to back up and save the files. She could not get Donna's threats out of her head, so she called the children. "Mommy." Zachary's cheerful voice came through. "What are you up to, sweetheart?" The moment she heard her child's voice, her bad mood dissipated. "We're resting, Mommy." Zachary had yet to fall asleep, so he picked up her call on the balcony. Heaving a sigh of relief, Orissa asked, "Where are your younger brothers? Is Gavin with you?" "Yes, he is. The others have fallen asleep, including Gavin." Orissa let out a chuckle as she jested, "What are you doing staying awake?" "I have things on my mind," Zachary uttered mysteriously. Arching her brow, Orissa tried to pry for answers, but Zachary dismissed her concerns. "Sweetheart, you need to listen closely to what I'm about to tell you." Upon hearing her stern tone, Zachary responded in all seriousness, "I'm listening, Mommy." "What is it?" "Sweetheart, I met up with Donna just now." She admitted that. At that moment, she got a phone call from an unknown number. Orissa hung it up and continued the conversation with Zachary. She said, "She was the one who separated us from Gavin. I worry that she might find and harm you, so I need you to stay at home and steer clear from strangers. Keep an eye on everyone, even the people who you know. Do not trust anybody aside from me and Mr. Hinton." "Got it, Mommy. You need to be careful too. We will protect ourselves." Zachary furrowed his brows as he contemplated whether he should inform his mother that Benjamin's bodyguards had been following them. Donna is a wicked woman. It's time he sends someone to protect Mommy. "Mommy, did she hurt you?" "No, on the contrary, I fought back when she tried to make me leave Benjamin." Orissa didn't keep anything from Zachary. She wanted her children to exercise caution by telling them the truth. Chapter 166. Zachary rolled his eyes. "Don't go anywhere and stay close to Benjamin, Mommy. Donna will not hurt you with him around." Upon hearing her son's words, Orissa was greatly touched. "Okay, Donna is so afraid that Benjamin will find out what she had done. Why don't I just expose her scheme? Besides, she worries that I'll snatch Benjamin away from her. I'll just do it since it isn't a bad thing." This time, there was no way Orissa would stay quiet and let Donna manipulate her once more. She hung up the phone after talking to her child. Orissa then reapplied her makeup and got herself in the best condition before looking for Benjamin. Before entering the man's office, Orissa took a deep breath at the door. "Ben." Looking at the people in the office, Orissa halted. She felt embarrassed about what she had in her mind just now. "Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Graham. You may continue." All eyes were on Orissa. She was stunned and was going to leave the office when a man's voice suddenly boomed. "Come in." Benjamin glanced at her and then to the other managers, his eyes darkening. "Please leave us for a moment." The managers were speechless and exchanged sneaky glances at one another while pondering inwardly. There's definitely something between Mr. Graham and this newcomer. When they walked past Orissa, they wore knowing smiles on their faces. Orissa greeted them with a polite smile, not knowing what they were thinking about, and walked toward Benjamin's desk. "What's the matter?" Benjamin asked before she could make a sound. Looking at Benjamin's stern gaze, Orissa felt a little guilty. Then, she gave him a brilliant smile. "Thank you, Mr. Graham." Benjamin raised his brows. "What for? Didn't you ask Mr. Frank to follow and protect me just now?" Orissa sized Benjamin up, but he remained calm, not as awkward as she thought. "You came to look for me because of this." Benjamin did not shift his gaze away from her. Orissa laughed. "And more." The man merely stared at her, waiting for her to continue. Because of his dominating presence, Orissa could not help noticing her heart was pounding loudly in her ears. What if he isn't that easy to be flirted with? Besides, we're in the company now. Will he chase me out of this company if I were to enrage him? Should I stop? Previously, Orissa was filled with confidence. Now that she was face to face with Benjamin himself, however, she was like a deer in the headlights. "I wasn't lying to you about Donna. You'll understand what I'm talking about once you listen to this." Upon saying that, Orissa placed the recording pen in front of Benjamin, who then shifted his gaze toward the object before questioning, "What is this?" "Evidence." Orissa wore a serious expression on her face as she exclaimed. Benjamin took a glance at her before taking the recording pen into his hand. Suddenly, his phone rang. He grabbed his phone, and his eyes flickered. "Hello, Benjamin." A woman's fearful and helpless voice was heard. Soon, Benjamin's expression turned grim. "What happened?" "I got into a car accident. I'm so scared, Benjamin, I'm bleeding a lot." "Do you think I'll die?" The woman's voice was feeble and soft. One's heart would ache for her upon hearing how weak she sounded. Orissa knitted her brows as she could hear the voice from the other end of the phone. "No, you won't. Where are you?" As he said that, Benjamin quickly grabbed his coat and hurriedly strode out of his office. Orissa lowered her eyes, and her heart sank. How ironic. She thought Benjamin had nothing to do with this woman, but it turned out she was the one who deceived herself. As her gaze fell on the recording pen on the desk, she walked over and took it in her hands. "Looks like I can't rely on others for some things. It's better to do it myself." Upon returning to her office, Orissa still had not calmed herself down. A sense of annoyance arose within her as she pondered about the situation. Donna, that bitch. There's no way this is all a coincidence. How could someone get into a car accident just like that? Is she doing this on purpose? Regardless of whether Donna's car accident was coincidental or intentional, there was no doubt that Benjamin still cared for her. Chapter 167. Orissa quickly made a phone call. "Bradley, find more people to protect Zachary and the rest of the children." Bradley was stunned by her request. Coincidentally, the children had asked him to protect their mother just mere moments ago. "All right, I guess I'll have to summon all of them back. Also, I have some evidence for Donna's wrongdoings, but it's not enough to pull her down." "You should look for more people," Orissa continued. "I was just about to talk to you about this, boss. I managed to locate the whereabouts of those two people, but I lost them this morning." Bradley could not hide his annoyance as he recalled the situation. He did not send the children to school that morning because he was busy tracking down the two people. "They're in Delmore." Orissa frowned. "Where did you see them?" Bradley told her everything. After hanging up the phone, Orissa turned on the laptop and checked on the surveillance cameras of the location Bradley had informed her about. Before long, she found the people she was looking for. A glint of pure hatred appeared across her eyes as she scrutinized the woman who was walking out of the grocery store. "It's her. Yes, this is definitely her." Using the surveillance cameras, she tracked their locations down and found out they were last seen in Olswick. After that, Orissa immediately gave Bradley a call. "Gather more people and head to Olswick. Be careful not to get caught." "Yes, boss." Bradley quickly got himself ready and relayed her orders to the rest of his men. Orissa's fists were clenched tightly beside her as she gritted her teeth in determination. Neither of them can escape. Meanwhile, Benjamin had arrived at the scene of the car accident and noticed that Donna's car was badly damaged from the crash. While wearing a grim expression on his face, he got out of his car and strode over. "Donna?" Benjamin asked as he knocked on the car window. Then, he walked to the front and saw Donna leaning against the seat with her head tilted, motionless. His gaze sharpened. Benjamin smashed the car window with a few punches and opened the car door from inside. He placed his finger on her neck, tried to look for a pulse. Sensing there was still a faint pulse, he quickly carried her out of the car. Donna opened her eyes feebly, and upon seeing Benjamin, tears instantly welled up in her eyes. "I knew it, you still care about me," Donna coughed. "Stop talking, let me bring you to the hospital." Benjamin carried her to his car. He stepped on the accelerator and quickly sent her to the hospital. Outside of the emergency room, Benjamin waited and stared at the door intently. No one knew what he was thinking. "I've found the driver who fled, Mr. Graham," one of his bodyguards reported. "Did you investigate it thoroughly?" Benjamin's voice was low. One could tell based on his demeanor that he meant business now. The driver was hell-bent on keeping his mouth shut at first, but he eventually spilled everything after we threatened him. He admitted he was instructed to cause the accident. The bodyguard then continued, "We couldn't find out who was the person who made the instruction as the deal was made through an online platform. All we know is that he was instructed to hit the car as long as no one died from the accident." He told his employer all of the information he got out of the driver in question. Upon hearing that, Benjamin's brows furrowed. No information on the person who gave the instruction. Give the information to Ethan and ask him to check again. Yes. At Benjamin's behest, the bodyguard quickly left and did as he was told. Meanwhile, Ethan felt slightly gloated after knowing that Donna was involved in a car accident. However, upon finding out Benjamin was with her, he helplessly let out a sigh and proceeded to investigate the ordeal as he was ordered. As he got more information, Ethan's expression became increasingly sullen as a frown slowly appeared across his face. Should I tell Mr. Graham about this? Or should I make a phone call first? At the same time, Gavin was in the computer lab at his school. He wore a grim expression as he stared at the computer screen. There was a hint of disappointment in the little boy's eyes. Just then, his phone rang. Zachary was beside him. Are you afraid? He doesn't look like he's afraid, though. Gavin turned around and looked at his younger brother. The hostility on his little face faded slightly. I've decided, I'll stay with you guys and Mommy. The boy exclaimed. Mommy has been exposed, and she's in danger. Upon hearing that, Zachary blinked his little eyes and responded, sure. As long as your dad doesn't try to snatch you away. Chapter 168. Zachary wondered if they should go somewhere else instead. He was not afraid of them, but he did not want to expose his mother to any danger. HMPH. He should not want me. Gavin was outraged when he saw Benjamin appear at the scene. Raw anger shot through him. Are you going to get that? Zachary reminded Gavin that his phone was still ringing. Gavin answered the call. What's up? When Ethan heard the cold, icy voice on the other end of the phone, it reminded him of Benjamin. He shuddered. Gavin, I found something. Donna's accident. I did it. You can tell Benjamin. Ethan was put in a spot when he heard that. Gavin did not intend to hide the truth from his father. It had been quite tense between both father and son. Ethan thought that telling Benjamin about the incident might strain the relationship even more. Gavin. Before Ethan could say what was on his mind, Gavin had already hung up. We need to leave now. Do you know a good hiding place? Gavin asked Zachary. Now that Ethan was aware of the matter, Benjamin would know about it sooner or later. Gavin never intended to hide what he had done. Donna had tried to make things difficult for his mother so many times. That woman had even mistreated him. He was determined not let her off. She had even used them to threaten his mother. Zachary's eyes lit up. Yes, but Mommy wouldn't want to leave with us so soon. Why don't we take it slow? No, we can't do that. Do you think Benjamin will let you stay out for long now that he knows who you are? They would not be able to leave once he caught them. Gavin's eyes had a brilliant glint. Zachary stroked his chin. You're right. Should we leave now? Gavin nodded. Where are Oliver and the others? They said they were going to the washroom. The three of them have been gone for quite a while. Zachary recalled what Arissa had told him. Frowning, he quickly stepped out. Hey, Mr. York, where do you think you are going? The teacher could not tell the brothers apart. So, he addressed them all as, Mr. York, for good measure. Teacher, I need to use the washroom. Zachary put on a serious look. It was very convincing. Sure, the teacher smiled kindly at him. Teacher, I need to go too. Gavin immediately followed Zachary, leaving the teacher speechless. Olivier, Jasper, and Jesse were surrounded by a group of men as soon as they came out of the washroom. Hey, kids, why don't you follow me? I can get you some candy. The children exchanged looks. The men did not look like they had good intentions. Do these men think we're dumb just because we're children? Did they think they can buy our trust so easily? Oliver and Jasper huddled together, blocking Jesse from view. All three of them looked warily at the men. Who are you? We don't know you. Who we are isn't important. Your mother asked us to pick you up. Come with us. Oliver and Jasper looked at each other. They acted quickly. The men were taken by surprise. Within minutes, they were all beaten up and lying on the floor. Jesse, pass the rope. Jesse quickly took out the rope from her bag. The three of them tied the men together. You. The men stared at the kids in disbelief. They didn't think they would be fooled by children. Jesse stuffed the mops taken from the washroom into their mouths. The men almost fainted from disgust. I'll give Zachary a call. Jasper took out his phone and was about to call Zachary. Just then, Oliver saw Zachary and Gavin approaching and tugged at Jasper's sleeve. They're here. Zachary and Gavin caught sight of the three of them and quickly ran over. What happened? Both of them looked at their siblings worriedly. They heaved a sigh of relief when they realized they had not been hurt. Chapter 169. Zachary, I don't know who they are. They tried to trick us. They must be up to no good. Jesse gave one of men's face a hard kick. Zachary went up to the men and kicked them some more. Unable to escape the boys' blows, the men howled in pain. Jasper and Oliver joined in. The boys' kicks were hard as steel, leaving the men squirming in pain. Gavin followed suit. All five of them kept on kicking mercilessly. Soon, the men were all beaten to a pulp. Their faces were now bruised and swollen. Gavin gave them a warning look. I have a question for you. Answer me truthfully, otherwise. The men nodded. Gavin removed the mop from one of the men's mouths. Who sent you? His stare was intimidating. The men quivered in terror and exchanged glances. Your mother ordered us to. Before he could finish his sentence, Zachary kicked him in the face, causing him to bite his own tongue. Tears rolled down from his face. Don't lie. Believe it or not, I could chop off your limbs. Jasper took out a knife from his pocket. The man shook in fear. These are not children. They are demons. I'll give you one more chance. Don't make me hurt you. Zachary curled his lips and stared at the man. Spill it. Oliver glared at the man menacingly. The man stammered, it was a woman. She ordered us to get you. She said she was your mother. We don't know if it's true. I'm telling the truth. I swear. The man backed off in fear at the sight of the knife pointing at him. Jasper turned to face Zachary and Gavin. Gavin had a grim look on his face. Could that woman be Donna? Has she found out about Zachary and the rest? Donna threatened Arissa not long ago, so that was a possibility. How do you contact her? She wanted us to bring you to Olswick. She will contact us when we get there. The man was quick to confess. We don't know her at all. We are only doing this for money. The men were all ruffians who had just gambled away all their money. The woman had given them an offer they could not resist. Olswick. Zachary and Gavin looked at each other. Have you met that woman? Zachary asked. Yes, she looks to be 40 years old. Gavin was deep in thought. Is it really Donna? What is her name? The man shook his head. She stopped us as we were leaving the casino. We don't know her name. I have her contact number. Why don't you try to get hold of her yourself? We really don't mean any harm. Please let us go. No harm. You wanted to kidnap us. Oliver kicked the man again. The man did not dare to scream. He merely winced in pain. Gavin shot a look at Zachary, who stuffed the mop back in the man's mouth. He took the man's phone and handed it to Gavin. Zachary knew what Gavin wanted him to do, and Gavin expected him to comply. The boys were baffled. As younger brothers, they had to take orders from their older brother. They did not like it. Gavin looked for the woman's contact number and sent it to his own phone. He then deleted the number from the man's phone before tossing it back to him. Zachary was bewildered by Gavin's actions. Gavin called Scott and Stanley, who had been standing guard outside, and asked them to come in. Chapter 170. They're trying to kidnap children. Take them to the police. Gavin ordered. Scott and Stanley were shocked. They did not think kidnappers would be able to enter the school compound. Next time, we should get inside the school to protect the kids. The kidnapper wanted to beg for mercy when they heard that, but they could not do anything because they were tied up. Understood. After ensuring that the children were all right, Scott and Stanley dragged the apprehended kidnappers to the police station. We should leave now, Gavin said to the other four. I agree. Zachary nodded his head in agreement, while Jesse, Jasper, and Oliver were confused. What are you guys talking about? Did we miss anything? Let's just get out first. We'll talk later, Zachary said. Jesse, Jasper, and Oliver nodded. They were willing to follow him as long as they stayed together. What if Benjamin's other bodyguards see us? Zachary was worried that the other bodyguards might catch them leaving. I know a place. Follow me, Gavin replied. After a while, 5 of them exited the school through a small opening in the wall and headed toward a certain direction. On the other hand, Benjamin was waiting in the hospital, unaware that the children had left the school. An hour later, Donna was pushed out of the emergency ward. Her head and limbs had been bandaged. She had a dislocated limb and a broken leg. "How is she?" Benjamin tossed his cigarette away and asked the doctor. "The patient suffered a severe blow to the head. She's most likely concussed, so she needs to be hospitalized for a few days. The injury on her leg isn't too serious, but it's best she stays in bed and not walk around for a while to avoid further damage." Benjamin nodded his head in silence as he listened to the doctor's advice. "Benjamin, don't leave me." Donna, still under the effect of anesthesia, mumbled Benjamin's name. The doctor and nurses looked at Benjamin in surprise when they heard his name. "Is this person Benjamin Graham, the big shot in Delmore?" "It's okay. You're fine now." Benjamin grabbed her hand and consoled her. "We'll take the patient to her room for some rest." "No worries, Mr. Graham. As long as she gets enough rest, she will recover in no time," said the doctor told Benjamin. He had a nurse take Donna to her ward. Donna's hand was still clinging to Benjamin's along the way. After setting up the IV drip, the doctor and nurses exited the ward in silence, not wanting to disturb Benjamin and Donna. "I'm sorry, Benjamin, don't leave me." Tears spilled from the corners of Donna's eyes as she shook her head. "I'm here. Stop moving and get some rest," Benjamin said as he held her head in place. After a while, Donna finally fell asleep with her hand in Benjamin's. Benjamin sat at the corner of the bed, deep in thought, as he stared at Donna's injuries. Suddenly, his phone rang. Ethan was calling him. Benjamin frowned and declined the call. He tried to pull his hand away from Donna's, but she gripped his hand hard. He sent a text to Ethan. "What's the matter?" Taken aback by the text message, Ethan carefully replied with another text. "I found the culprit, Mr. Graham. Are you free to talk now?" Looking at Ethan's reply, Benjamin grabbed a random object and stuffed it in Donna's hand. Then, he left the ward to call Ethan. "Who is it?" Ethan trembled at the sound of Benjamin's voice. "Will Gavin be in trouble if I tell Mr. Graham the truth?" "But Mr. Graham will know it sooner or later anyway." After a moment's consideration, Ethan finally told Benjamin the truth.